Hello and thanks for joining me. I'm going to share how I made the elements for this card using a method for foiling that requires no heat. For this particular card I used rainbow deco foil, but any brand of foil that you would use with the laminator will work with this technique. This isn't the only no heat foiling method around, but I've found it to be the easiest and the quickest and the one that has the least chance of failing. I actually own a mink machine, but I still prefer this method because it's just so much quicker. To apply the foil, I start with a piece of plain card, some foil, in this case I'm using silver, and some double-sided tape. You can also use double-sided adhesive sheets for this as well. I always use a single piece of adhesive when doing this, simply because the joins will be really noticeable once you apply the foil. In contrast, you can use multiple pieces of foil to cover the piece of adhesive, because laying sheets of foil next to each other doesn't leave any marks at all. I just apply the cardstock to the adhesive, and if you're using a roll like me, try adding the card to the roll and then cutting it. You'll find your scissors don't stick as much to the piece of adhesive as you're cutting it. Coating your scissors with Versamark ink also helps with that. Once it's cut, I make sure all the tape is really well stuck down by pressing down as firmly as I possibly can with my fingers, especially around the edges. Once that's done, I start to peel the backing paper. Here's the trick that really helps when you're adding the foil. Just fold the very edge of the backing paper back on itself. You can then add the edge of the foil and smooth it down properly along one side without worrying about the other parts of the foil getting stuck or damaged while you work. Just make sure you put the dull side of the foil against the adhesive. Once you've got the side of the foil stuck down well, you can just flip the foil over and grab the backing sheet, but just be careful not to scratch the foil. The fingernails can remove the foil from its plastic very easily. Now you just pull the backing paper back as you slowly slide your finger across the foil. This way the foil will go onto the adhesive as you pull the backing paper, and you won't end up with ripples or buckles in your foil. Once the backing paper is fully removed, just give it a really light rub with your fingers before the next step. Don't use your fingernails, it will scratch the surface of the foil. Others say that you can use a bone folder or a ruler to press down the foil, or even use your cutting plates in the Big Shot, but those methods mark the foil and leave scratches. My trick is to use an embossing mat instead. To my die cutting platform I add the embossing mat, the foiled paper with the foiled side down, and a piece of cardboard that I use as a shim. The cardstock shim I'm using is a thick piece. It's actually the back of an old artist block, so it's about 2 millimeters thick. And the last thing I add to my sandwich is just my regular cutting plate, but I use an old one in case it gets buckled or bent. Using something soft on either side of your cardstock with the foil on it will help protect the finished foil piece. You won't get any scratches, marks or dents, and if you're fussy like me, that's really important when you're foiling. Once I run it through the machine, I can just peel the corner and slowly pull the plastic away from the foil. As you can see, the plastic release sheet is really clean and all the foil has stuck to the adhesive, and it's ready for die cutting. If you don't have a die cutting machine to use as a press in this situation, you could always just rub over it really firmly with a microfiber cloth, but make sure you don't touch it with anything hard. And you can always draw an image on the cardstock and cut it out with a pair of scissors carefully. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have fun with your foil.